Well, hey everyone, it's 7Demo7. How's everything going? I was just wanting to update you guys about a lot of changes that I made here in my studio. Before, it was looking pretty ragged. I had a pretty nasty looking floor that's been in here for about 15 or 20 years or so. So I decided to get rid of the flooring. I'll show you guys that in just a second. But I also just had a generalized lot of clutter all over the place, so I just got kind of tired of that, and recently I've been doing some changes. I still have a couple piles of clutter that I'm still going through and getting rid of, which is kind of cool. But I just wanted to share what's going on. It's really nice, a much better space for doing reviews and whatnot. So I'll just kind of show you guys what I have going on for right now. I'm going to start in this corner right over here. Oh, hang on a second. I don't want to end the stream. I want to flip the camera around. Okay, so right over here is my car racing setup. As you guys know, I've been doing a little bit of car racing recently, since COVID started actually. So this is my racing seat setup with my PS4, and I'm usually play a set of Corsa Competizione. I just have some lighting going on here with my drift bodies right up here. This is the Costco lighting. You can kind of switch things around here. You can do United States of America. You can do Christmas, or you can actually do some really cool some chasing lights as well, which is kind of neat. So that is my racing setup. I have a fan set up here. This stuff is all going to go away, and this is another pile of stuff I need to get rid of as well. But let's go along to... Whoa, I almost dropped you guys. Hang on a second. Okay, so if you guys remember my my office before, is that I used to have kind of a presentation table right here, a large desk that was over here, lots of shelves and tools and shelves, and I just kind of get rid of it all except for the TV. The TV is pretty hard mounted up there, so I'm going to keep that around. As you guys can see, I'm still in a little bit of construction here. But this is my new floor. So this is the... Hey, Hubbard, how's it going? This is the new floor that I have in, which is used for professional gyms. So it's basically a rubberized floor. Pretty cool. I just have my IKEA couch with the little carpet set up here. So this is one of the biggest changes. I took that nasty looking carpet out of here. Like I said, it had been in here for about 15 years or so. Yeah, so this is what it's going to look like here. So instead of the presentation area being over here, I'm going to basically shift everything over to here, which looks a whole lot nicer here. So if you guys remember that large old school desk that was in here, that was here when I actually first started leasing this space. The guy said I could have the desk when I first moved in, so I did. So if you look at this desktop right here, I chopped this desktop off of that desk. I went ahead and went to the home goods department, and I got some plumber's piping here, and basically just set up a nice tall workstation, which is really, really nice. It's kind of got this old school look to it. I've had things like I've had a vise mounted here to the top of the table. You know, it's one of those pieces of wood that you really don't care about too much, but it works really good. You can see it's had some life to it. I've had some sketches of things that I needed to do. So yeah, so this just looks like a much better presentation area here. It'll make me much more comfortable for being in front of the camera. And I also just cleaned up the whole lighting situation. So I have my kind of old schooly lights up here that I can turn on or off. But then I also have my studio lights here, which I affixed to the ceiling instead of having them up on stands, which takes up a lot of floor space. There's one there, there's one here. There's my FX61 in the background there. This is my flight test, the foam wing that I built long time ago with Albert Kim. Let's just take a look around here. So this is my Dynam C-17. What a great airplane that is. A couple of cars up here. This is the Desert Fox here from Hobby King, the Hobby King Rattler. So if you guys remember this car from, God, what is it, like 2 years ago, I did a review on it, broke a steering piece on it, and the steering piece has never ever been in stock at Hobby King. So this car has just been sitting there, even though I like the way it drives and everything, but that little steering piece, one of the big problems with Hobby King sometimes is, oh boy, you get a piece that breaks and you can't get it again. So this is a boat I built with my son when he was really young. One of the little trucks here, the 6-wheel drive here. This is my lost pilot section here. I usually don't like to put pilots in my airplane, so I just I always take them out. So here's where all my extra pilots go to. Just some tool holders here that I've 3D printed. Put the 3D printer over here on the side of my workstation here. And like I said, guys, just much cleaner, much better for working and whatnot. I am working on, and I've filmed the review video, what I think about the Draco. Stay tuned for that. It's going to be a pretty in-depth, very detailed review about the Draco, what I think about it, and there's a couple of finer points, some sticky points about the Draco that I don't quite like. It's a nice plane and everything. East Guy has been super fan of the channel. They've done really great stuff. I am reviewing the 300 V2 here, which is the bigger of the helicopters you can see from the size of my hand. Then this little guy down here is the F-150 V2. So they sent me this one to start with, and a couple of years ago, and this thing's great. It flies really neat. You guys will recognize this camera, maybe you won't, but the Petrinchik brothers, this is the same camera that they use for their channel. I've always loved how well their video zooms in very clearly. So film at 1080p, and this allows you to get really close to the airplanes when they're in flight. I added a microphone. I've always had this microphone for a long time. And of course, this is the switch pod, which is the Kickstarter campaign. You flip the handles together like this, and you just have a nice handheld mini tripod. I have to put a pivoting head on top of this so I can pivot the camera whenever I slide this thing back down. So it pops out just like that, nicely made. East Guy also sent me the brand new version 2 of the East Guy Albatross here, motor glider. That's a V-tail. It's got like an 8-foot wingspan and some wings that have some of the toughest foam that I've ever witnessed in a foam airplane. This is the stiffest foam I've ever seen. It holds up really well. It's gonna dent a little bit worse than regular foam though, but you know, that is negligible. But I've flown this a handful of times. Very nice, and it slopes really well at the slopes. At the slope at like Kite Hill. Blah. Anyway, take a look at this this spar that's in here. This is a 13.5 millimeter spar, box spar, and inside the wings there's another box spar that goes inside this box spar, and everything clicks together. I built this airplane in 5 minutes. So the tail comes out, and they all have the connectors here. If I can get this, I can't really get it to focus, but there's 2 little connectors. Excuse me, they're right here. Connectors are right here, so you don't have to plug anything in. It's just already there for you. It's a plug and play. Have my FR Sky receiver in there with my Vario, and I also have Crow braking setup. The setup was programmed by my friend Andrew Newton. So anyway, so this is the new studio. I really like it. It's got more of a homey feel to it. It looks like I can do some nice reviews here. Got my tripod set up, and I lift weights every once in a while. Got the Drac. I've been flying that every once in a while too. Anyway, that is pretty much it. Let me just flip you guys around here. All right. And I have COVID here. I have a ponytail. Let me know if you guys have let your hair grow out or let yourself go. No. Yeah, and by the way, as far as the weights go, I'm going to have a weight bench in here as well. I've decided that dad bods, although they're kind of funny, not cool. I have decided that I'm going to gain some muscle and lose some weight. I've already lost a lot of weight. I got up to about 185. I'm down to like 180, 179 now, and I put on a couple pounds of muscle, so that's pretty sweet. I'm pretty happy about that, and I can actually see it through my face here. This is much better. I'm just feeling much better than I used to. So, yeah, the dad bod's not going to cut it anymore. You know, we have to continue to attract our mates, as it were. Anyway, guys, let me take a quick peek here. Let's see here. I thought that I could. Oh, here we go. So let's see. Havard says, "Nice space, thank you." The Draco is a nice looking model, but a bit pricey. Yeah, the cost of it kind of goes away. I'll tell you guys what I think a little bit about the Draco here before my actual review comes out. If you're into scale airplanes, it's awesome. If you're into Mike Patey, awesome airplane. It looks great. There's some awesome engineering that goes into it. I like airplanes that look great and fly great too. In my opinion, they put the wrong power system in this airplane. You can probably fly for about 10-ish minutes on 6,000 milliamp. They should have put a higher kV motor in it. It's got a 400 kV motor in it. I would have been happier with like a 5 or 600 kV motor to give it that extra punch, because it is a heavy airplane. One of the best scale details I like about the airplane is the dashboard lights up. It looks like a real dashboard. That is really cool. When you land it, I feel like it's a little bit too nose heavy. So whenever you're giving it up elevator to pivot your landings, it is struggling to get the tail down. So I've done everything I can to put the weight kind of in the back of the airplane, and it does come in real nice, and I can put the tail down first now. But the stock CG, I think, is just too tail heavy, especially with the lack of power from the 400 kV motor. So it's a little wishy-washy in the landings. Now I can grease my landings with this thing, but I only grease the landings maybe 5 out of 10 times. And when you don't grease it, the thing bounces like crazy. The suspension in the landing gear helps, but there's no damper to it. It's just a spring. So if you hit it a little bit hard, all the energy just goes right back up. So you bounce, and it's going to bounce right back up into the air. So if they had a damper in there with a spring, that would have been great to provide some rebound. The landing gear is sketchy too. So these are just my initial thoughts. You'll see this in the review video. So the way it's set up, it's like a carbon arm that comes down, this big flat piece. And then there's an axle that comes out from that, and then the wheel, and then the pivot point. So anytime you want to put down one wheel and skate one wheel along the ground, like you would like a turbo timber, so you do that, and you can't do that with the Draco, because you put one tire down and it pivots that whole carbon arm and it catches. So it's just, I'm like going, you want to do the same things that you could do with a turbo timber, or a timber, but you can't because it's heavy, and when you get to those slow speeds, it gets a little tip stally. So, like, it's made to be this ultimate scale stall vehicle, and it's scale and it looks good, but it doesn't stall well. So it's kind of a conundrum. So I wait, like, you know, with my timber, I can all day long run the wheels along, do a touch and go, and just run along the grass for as long as I wanted and take off. When I do that with the Draco, it's either you're down or you're up, or you're down or you're up. You cannot skate this thing along the ground for any length of time without it doing something that you don't want it to. Now, one of the things that I do like about the Draco is that when they program the AS3X in it, it's not as reactive as any other airplane that they have, so it's very inactive, actually. So I think a lot of people who are used to AS3X are going to be caught out a little bit with this airplane because they're used to a very active AS3X. I think you can go into the backward programming on it, and change that. I haven't delved into that yet, but yes, like I mentioned before, it does have a pretty nasty stall tendency as well, which is not what you want for a stall vehicle. So anyway, But thank you everyone for joining me in this video. It's very impromptu today. I was just doing some work in the office, so if you want to see just the other half of the office here, so here is my fun area, reviews, watching videos, doing reviews here, 3D printer, my fridge. Then here's my dental lab section, which is always a bit of chaos. I have all my machines here, all my lab pens, all my retainer colors here, my fume hood. I have some, like a drill press over here and a jigsaw and a model trimmer. Then I have this mess I've got to deal with too. So this is the next thing that I want to just get all of this out of here. Take it to my storage, whatever. Get rid of empty boxes that I don't need. Oh, and I wanted to mention that I was able to score this little beauty right here from a friend of mine. The UMX Beast. I've always wanted one of these, and they don't make them anymore, and Buddy was selling a bunch of these. I think some guys, when the FAA rulings first started coming out that you couldn't fly anything over 250 grams, a bunch of guys ran out and bought a lot of these UMXs. So this guy had a ton of UMXs. I just bought this off him, so really cheap. Can't wait to get this thing up in the air too. With that, I will talk to you guys later on the next one. So stay tuned to the channel. I'm going to have the eSky Albatross, great motor glider, one of the best, I think. I'll have my full review on the Draco. You guys got a little mini review today. And the Albatross, the eSky 300 V2, this little guy here. I've already filmed the review on it. It flies great. I don't know how to fly helicopters, but I can fly both of these ones. So, all right, guys. With that, I will talk to you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.